What up? It's DEGREELESSNESS, episode 9.
9!
Yeah, shit, we're almost in fucking double digits. I'm very impressed.
Oh, I'm impressed as fuck, dog.
Your boy's here with you, as always, Shanghai Pete, Bobby Bao. What's poppin', Bobby?
What's up? Oh, man, well, it's been thunderstorming in Chicago, which has been intense. I've been reunited with the cats, of course. So I've got 2 cats in my life.
Shout out Steak Man, shout out little boy.
Yeah, I have a lot of shit going on in terms of the Switch that I need to discuss. What about you? How are things out in the land of the Pacific?
Well, predictably, we are not seeing any rain, as you are. So, you know, just more maddening blue skies and perpetual perpetual beauty and tranquil weather, as always, 24/7, enough to drive you utterly insane. But, you know, we persevere, we persist. We start as we mean to go on.
Yeah. With weed shops.
Yes, with weed shops.
With the weed shoppy.
Which I still, even after all this time, I'm still not quite used to it. We went to the wholesale district a couple weeks ago. Are you familiar with that?
Wholesale weed?
Just wholesale in general, right? There's like a different area of the wholesale district for a whole bunch of like different types of products and shit like that. We went to the wholesale district area where they sell weed pipes and shit.
Oh.
Like seriously, like easily a full block of not just head shops, but like basically just containers for massive amounts of smokeware with like a dude standing out front of it being like, hey, what's up? And like, dude, we bought like 2 bongs, a bunch of bowls and shit. Like I spent like $100 and got like 8 pieces, literally. It was fucking crazy. The deals and shit that they're slanging out there are awesome.
That's super cool. Damn, nice.
Yeah, Jules took me out there. That was the first time I'd ever seen that area of the city. Was awesome.
That's great.
But
well, you've got pipes. I've got cats. We're coming up and outward.
Yeah, so just before we get into anything, I mean, it sucks that we even have to mention this or address this in any fashion, but yeah, there was yet another mass shooting, this time at a Madden tournament in Florida, I believe, and you know, we're not going to really go into it. I mean, there's not really much more to say other than that it's disgusting and horrific, and our thoughts are with everybody affected by that shit. It's
for sure, absolutely. You know, we much has been said about the issue that we don't need to get into, but we certainly this is a major topic, and you know, maybe
we'll really break it down and do an episode. Yeah, really on this whole thing.
Would take an episode. This is one of those issues that is like so serious. And the fact that it's ridiculously somehow gaming has been interwoven in this issue for so long that it is something that needs to be tackled. But you know, our jovial nature makes it such that we would need more preparation. That's not the kind of thing that I necessarily want to. I don't really want to talk about edging and mass shootings in the same breath, or at least not without some preparation. That's one thing where I mean, look. I may like animals a lot more than people, but I certainly never would wish harm on anybody. And people who fucking pull that kind of shit are fucking insane. It's just fucked up, you know. So, people going out playing video games, you know, fucking thoughts to all those people.
Yeah,
for sure.
All right, so with that out of the way, moving on. Bobby, you said you've been, especially since you've been traveling and shit for the past week or so, you must be really deep inside your Switch at this point.
Oh boy. Well, all right. First, I've got great news, which is Octomom Piledriver demo still alive. I found it, even though searching Octopath did not bring it up. I found it. And also, searching games with demos didn't bring it up. That's what it was.
I don't know what the fuck it is about the search algorithms in a lot of these like online stores and shit like that, but they're just so fucking piss poor.
It's awful. Like, I'm trying to give you money. So finally, I was high as balls and just searched RPG, and there it was. So
Of
I will
course
say
there's a
this.
solution.
Right. So I'll say this. First of all, the fact that I think it's just like a 3-hour timer, which is insane.
Yeah.
And your save file carries over to a full game. That alone could be enough for me to buy it. So here's what I did. I started a new game as Ulberic, the standard ass warrior. Instead of last time when I was blackout drunk and I picked the stripper immediately because the story shit was super cool.
Do you remember any of her opening story? Dude, it's fucking dark.
Yes, I remember quite a bit of the beginning, but not that much. This was also 4 months ago, and I was fucked up. So I wanted to get into something that was a very, like, normally when I play a new game, I play as a fighter class, and so I decided to go straight forward, and I was right, because I got deep in the battle system right away, got to really fight battles right away. I mean, the battle system seems really simple, but it's gorgeous. I mean, the whole game is so awesome. I'm looking at it and I'm like, oh, I'm definitely going to buy this when the demo is up. So really happy about that.
That's what happened to me. I went into the demo being like, this is so unique and fantastic looking that I, at the very least, have to check it out, you know? And hadn't made up my mind in, like, either way. But by the time I was nearing my my limit with the demo, I was like, oh yeah, I absolutely have to fucking buy this. I absolutely have to buy it.
So yeah, well, I mean, I'm interested in how I'd take it because you and my buddy both were like, I don't know how I feel about this.
Well, it's,
like,
it's strange that, like, these days, it's as simple as the just like a sort of a classic JRPG sort of formula may seem. I mean, if you look at the available evidence, especially like within the last couple of years, it seems as though it's anything but, as almost any developer that's tried to tackle that shit has had real problems with. I think Persona 5 being like the only real notable exception as a game that just like overall was just fucking great, you know. But it's hard to get that JRPG formula just right, even as deceptively simple as it may seem. You know, there's always either like way too many weird mechanics and gimmicks tacked on and shit that make it just not feel right, or just overburdened, you know, to like any number of other fuck ups. So
I think the bottom line is it's just been done. It finally, at this point, the JRPG has been done. It could just be me, because you know that I used to go, oh shit, it's a grind fest. I'm in, even if the game is garbage, just so I can get power levels. Whereas finally, I was just like, I've done this 1,000 times. And yes, once you complicate it with too many mechanics, it's just too much for me to remember. I can't keep up with, like, oh my God, how much do I have to micromanage? Like, I was looking at Disgaea 5 and I was like, I would love to play this, but I could not do more than 6 or 7 hours of this without getting so caught up in the mechanics that I just wouldn't be having fun anymore, which I used to thrive in that. And I think that fucking Octopath seems so far simple enough that what it does differently and it does right is the presentation. I mean, the diorama art style is unbelievable. The battle system is simple, but still has a little depth with the weaknesses. The boost system is like the break and boost is cool.
System.
Break and boost is cool.
Enough.
Dude, like, you break that motherfucker and then boost. It makes sense. Use the weaknesses, boost, get rid of them. Like, battles are tough enough that, like, even having leveled a bit and knowing what I was doing,
they do tend to drag a little bit. Not by much, but definitely you feel it. Like, they're, like, especially random encounters are just a little bit longer than you feel like.
You know, that's funny. It's funny you mentioned that. I fucking heard that homeboy Yahtzee said something similar, and I hadn't thought about that till you. Shout out motherfucking Yahtzee. I hadn't until you said something. I hadn't remembered it. Actually, it was between you, my buddy, and Yahtzee. All seemed so lukewarm about it. Like, basically, it's like the presentation's amazing. Everything about this is really cool, but ultimately, I feel like, I think the lack of the stories tied together, apparently until the end, that sucks.
That is by far the thing that is irking me the most. Right? The battle system is great. It's excellent. It succeeds in that area alone simply because the changes and the the areas where the battle system deviates from just your standard turn-based affair, they exist in service of the gameplay and not just, as another means to to justify the existence of the game overall. Just like, hey, look at these new random mechanics that we've inserted in here for seemingly no reason other than to add a bullet point to the back of the box. You know, it actually feels like the changes, the gimmicks, if you will. It feels like they serve the gameplay, and they also have the benefit of being actually fucking fun, at least in my opinion, right? So that's great, and I've gotten used to even like the slightly tedious, maybe, shall we say, nature of a lot of the random encounters as I've been putting hours into it. But yeah, and I think we spoke about this a little bit in a previous episode, but I don't know, the narrative structure is just, I don't know. I'm fine with how different it is from, you know, any sort of standard RPG storytelling device, but I don't know if, in this case, different is necessarily better.
For what, the storytelling?
Yeah, for the 8 characters with the stories and perspectives.
I mean, let me tell you something. If 4 of the 8 stories are decent, that's a good plus. Like, if they couldn't figure out how to do it with a wraparound story that wasn't shitty, okay, but like, really, I don't know how tough it will be. I mean, again, I haven't played nearly enough to say it's a problem for me, but like, a big bad looming in the distance is a really important thing to connect everybody and drive them together, a la FF6, which expertly has a ton of different characters, each doing their own thing. Of course, the big bad is the main focus, as opposed to here where the side quest is the focus. But in the world of Ruin, it really is like, do each person's side quest that essentially has nothing to do with the big bad. Everybody learn more about each character deeply. Have everyone, instead of everyone come together as your stories progress, it's everyone comes together and then your stories split off. You learn more about each character optionally and then go fight the big bad.
I feel like
that is pro shit.
Yeah, I feel like that makes, I mean, just at a glance, that makes more sense, right? Because at that point you already are invested in the characters for how they relate to the main overarching story, and that kind of serves to anchor them and give you a perspective on them and shit like that. So by the time you get to the end game, you are invested in them enough so that you want to go out and you know, and take more of like a look behind each of their specific natures and shit like that.
Totally.
Doing it in the reverse way, as they do in an Octomom Pile Driver, like, I mean, the storytelling it's certainly effective, right? Though it's a little bit inconsistent. I feel like when I first played the Primrose, I think it is, hers was the very first story I ever played. And when I after 20 minutes of that, my jaw was on the fucking floor. The voice acting, the writing, the subject matter and everything, the presentation, I was like, holy fuck. But since then, I've seen, you know, storytelling and cutscenes, I guess, for lack of a better word, that have both met and have met that quality, and in some areas maybe surpassed it a little bit. But I've also seen an equal number that have been seemingly disjointed and piss poor by comparison. Right. Which is, I mean, it's still a little unsettling, that in and of itself, right? But I don't know. It's hard to get attached to these characters when we still... I'm more than halfway through it, and I still don't even know if there is a larger, overarching, all-encompassing story.
Right. Well... speaking of the voice acting, by the way, I think another thing that turned me off in April was, while I remember thinking the American voice acting was decent, like... weeaboo style, when I want to spam B, like in a JRPG, I find it much nicer to have them speaking Japanese with all the Japanese inflection, and the samurai sounds like a samurai, and the little kids sound like little kids, and the school marm sounds like a school marm, and it's all those trope voices, and I'm totally cool with that. And when I realized I could change it in the demo, I was amped, and I enjoyed it way more. So that really helped. So I don't know. I mean, I'm honestly... now that I found the demo and I'm actually playing it, I definitely think I'm going to buy it, because I was just really nervous about dropping fucking $70 or $60 on something that I might be lukewarm about. And now, I mean, I'm going to truck through as much. I mean, if they give me 3 hours, I'm going to rock that 3 hours tonight for sure.
Well, I mean,
and I'm going to have more of an answer at that point.
Definitely, this is one of those, unfortunately, more and more rare cases where the demo really gives you, it really informs you well as to what the larger game is like. Basically, if you really fuck with the demo, you will love the game. But if you aren't sold completely by the end of your time with the demo, there's nothing in the game that's gonna change your mind.
Right. Well, I'm into it. It was a super awesome demo. The fact that it has the different options, and it's essentially, they said a couple of side quests were missing, but it's basically the full game.
Oh yeah, I played.
Which is so dope.
I started with the thief in mine, and yeah, I don't think I hit the 3-hour time limit before the game itself was actually released. But when it did, I was already convinced, so I just grabbed it. But
well, we'll see. I mean, so beyond that,
well, I'll say this: if that game manages to really hook you, like truly hook you, I will be very impressed and pleasantly surprised.
Why? Because you just don't think it's
no, it's been a long time since I've seen you like really get into an RPG. Especially
that's
one
totally
that's not
true.
like attack RPG or something like that.
Yeah, no, that's totally true. And the thing is, I've been craving something like an RPG. I've been craving something that's turn-based, and just something that's a little more like turn your brain off when this other shit is so much more active. Zelda's the closest I have where I can just stand there and do nothing. Otherwise, like Dead Cells, fucking 20xdx, those are like way more hyperactive. I mean, they're roguelites, you got to be on top of things. And Breath of the Wild, yeah, I can just sit around and chill, but it's not quite the same as an RPG where it's like, I'm out of battle, legit nothing is going to happen to me right now. I'm just straight chilling. So I'm really interested if this is going to scratch that itch, and if it can hook me to the point where I can get into it and finish it. Maybe. Right now, I'm saying, fuck yeah, I would love to be looking at like 100 hours of this. Oh my God.
Shit, I'm gonna be careful to not frighten away that impulse before it becomes too bold.
Yeah, no, well, even with all the shit I've heard about it, it's like, dude, this is also like one of the top 10 best-selling Switch games. It sold like 1 million copies the first month. And I want to support games like this being made, games that look like this and feel like this and have so much love, and Switch fucking exclusive, great JRPGs. Like, that's dope. I mean, like, it doesn't need to be an exclusive, I guess, but the fact that they're pushing this for Switch and like Square Enix is giving Nintendo attention, just...
Well, when something's exclusive, it makes me even more inclined to want to support it, right? Because, I mean, the most powerful statement we can make as consumers to a company about one of their products is to spend our fucking money on it, right?
For sure, yeah,
I mean,
totally.
That's the best way that we can say, hey, Square Enix, please make more games like this, and if you don't mind, put more games in general on the fucking Switch.
Right. Right. Exactly. Like, I guess it's not for the fact that it's exclusive is great, but I'd feel no more. I guess for some reason it's a little more exciting, probably because the Switch is so new to me and everything. But it's not just the exclusive, but that it's for Switch. It came out on Switch. They paid attention to Switch. They were like, yeah, we want to have this on this fucking system, and it's selling like fucking hotcakes. That shit's crazy.
Yeah, I don't have any actual like concrete numbers or whatever, but I'm pretty positive that when numbers started to come in from this opening day sales of that and shit, people were, including Square Enix and Nintendo, were fucking taken completely off guard. Like, people were fucking shocked.
Yeah, I can't believe this sold that many copies that fast. That's fucking nuts, dude.
I've even read some shit where there's some places that have been having trouble keeping it in stock.
That's nuts, dude.
That's fucking crazy.
Remember that PlayStation 1 games became PS Classics originally when they were in the Million Sellers Club? It took ages to get their awful green band. Yeah, ugh. It took ages to get that, and then it just became Player's Choice. But that was like a huge deal, 1 million copies. This game's been out for like 6 weeks, and it's past 1 million. And it's a fucking ridiculous niche JRPG. Just shows downloadable games, accessibility of Switch, etc. Shit is fucking nutso. I mean, dude, like 4 of the top 10 best-selling games right now are Switch games. Granted, I think that...
Is that true, really?
Dude, honest, I'm pretty sure the top selling games right now are Odyssey, Breath of the Wild, Oh wait, maybe I'm thinking of Switch top sell. I think that's the top selling Switch games, because I was trying to count how many of these were Nintendo originals. I really want to know
Yeah, I mean, I would not be surprised in the least if Nintendo had a handful of titles up there on that list, but I mean, that seems like a little much to have like the top five or whatever dominated by that shit. Although, I mean, like, what other games does Sony have out, right? Or
all right, well, let's see.
Have out? I don't.
They've got a bunch of shit. Let's see. As of like July, from the NPD group, top 10 games are Far Cry 5, God of War, Monster Hunter World, Call of Duty World War II, DBZ Fighters, GTA 5, a 5-year-old game. I mean, go Rockstar. NBA 2K18, MLB 18, Mario Kart 8, and PUBG. So Nintendo only has one.
Still, but it's a game that's not only years old, but it was a port of a game that came out in like, what, 2014? Mario Kart 8?
Right. Well, I mean, it's still really impressive to me in general. I don't. That's for all of 2018 up to July. I don't know about.
I guess Far Cry and God of War. That definitely doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, Mario Odyssey is really high up there. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I want to support them. I want to speak with my money. And again, it's such an affordable when I'm considering. Again, I go to a bar, I can easily blow $60 in like 2 hours, like it's nothing. $60 at a bar, just like that's like a stop and chat. $60 at a bar. If I'm turning up with shots and shit, that's like no doubt, boom, 60 out the window, no question. I mean, shit. Dude, like I went out with my boy, because my boy helped me out getting the cats and shit. We went out and got tacos and shit. Like a total of like 5 tacos and 2 tall boys was like $55 after tip.
Good Lord.
And that's honestly not that unreasonable.
Well, I mean, were you at a bar or were you at a taco truck or something?
I mean, it's a bar taco restaurant. Yeah. Like the tacos are a key. Yeah, it is like a legit taqueria. I mean, this place is insane. Dude, I had a taco called the Big Boss. Topical. So anyway, my point being that it's cost effective for me. Whereas I used to go, oh my God, blowing $60 at a video game is insane. However, since buying this Switch, I have gone out so much less simply because I'm like, holy fuck, I want to go home and play some fucking video games. Like, I'm like, fuck yeah, bro. I want to play some shit.
It's on one hand, it seems silly to keep mentioning this because, I mean, it's not just us. Like, so many other outlets and shit like that always talking about this as a benefit of the Switch, right? But you really are getting more value for your money when you purchase a game for the Switch than you are if you buy one for any other home console or even the fucking PC, right?
Yep.
I mean, especially given that the Switch is now baseline, this is Nintendo's home console, it seems in a way like a silly distinction to make, but my brain still views the purchase of a Switch game as essentially I'm getting 2 games. I'm buying a console version of the game, and I'm also getting a handheld version of the game.
Right, which is fair, dude. Sony used to and may still get away with selling 2 different fucking versions. They sell a Vita version, and at least PS3 and Vita versions were very comparable, and they had many, many, many games that could be played on both. Tons. And you had to buy a copy on each. I think maybe some you were able to cross-play, but not all of them.
I don't know anything about the Vita especially, but I know that it has
like additional value.
PlayStation Classics, especially on that shit too, right?
No, I mean, you could play like legit, there were PS3 games. Because I remember when fucking Dragon's Crown came out, that shit, you could play that shit on PS3.
Oh,
I mean, that wasn't as, that shit was hot. Fuck. So, yeah, it is higher value in general. And yes, when I ultimately get a TV, it crossed my mind, because I have an HDMI in on my laptop, I think I may be able to route.
Wait, you have an HDMI in?
No, it's an HDMI port. I think it's in out. I think HDMI is I/O, period. I don't think there's a distinction. So I'm wondering if I can use my laptop screen for the Switch as opposed to the laptop routing out to something else. I don't know if that's possible, but it crossed my mind. It's not that I need it.
I mean, that seems both insane, but also like, I mean, maybe that could work at the same time.
Yeah, I don't know if you can commandeer a laptop screen. I don't think I've ever tried to do that before and use a laptop screen as a second monitor for something else. Certainly not since the Yo Day, where that shit was like, where you could fucking hijack anything.
Yeah, back when she was a lot more analog. That's the thing with HDMI, it's all fucking digital, so like...
Yeah, so I don't know if it's... I mean, it has to be possible, but likely not something I could do on a work computer for sure. I mean, I only would ever use that like if a homie and I were hanging out and we were fucking playing, we wanted to play. I could definitely see playing a 4-player game on this, no problem. But really, I just got to get a fucking TV, and then I can truly feel the power when I can drop this shit in the dock, and then boom, it's on TV. Dude, let's not forget that I am now rounding into, I want to say this will be 3 weeks with this thing, and not once have I played it on a TV, and I'm blown the fuck away. My entire experience on this has been on, I have never played a Switch, period, on a screen bigger than, I want to say, 27 inches. That's the biggest I've ever seen it on, period.
Dude, the screen of the Switch is like the perfect size. It's
amazing. What is it, like 7?
Big, it's not too small. It's like, it's just fucking right. It's just right. And some people complain that like, oh, it's only 720p or whatever. Man, on like a 6.5-inch screen or whatever the fuck, like who cares? Like you are lying to me if you're trying to tell me that you can fucking look at that 720p Switch screen and be like, oh, I can see some graphical artifacting here. Like, fuck you. Get out of here.
Still, the only time I felt that is when I first played Doom. And that was even on a TV, and I was like, okay, this looks dated. But again, as I said, I forgot within 5 minutes and never thought about it again because of the gameplay was just so good, so I didn't really think about it, so it wasn't that big an issue.
Probably a unique case where I can't even imagine the amount that they're compressing those textures and doing like, render scaling and shit to keep the frame rate up. So, shit. Have you had a chance to play Wolfenstein 2 on the Switch? I've heard it runs just as well as Doom does.
I have not.
Have you played any of the new Wolfenstein games?
No, dude. I don't think I've played any of them since the fucking one that came out on PC ages ago that had a demo. There was a multiplayer demo with a flamethrower at Normandy Beach, and that shit was off the hook.
Dude, the new ones are fucking crazy good. They are fucking crazy good, dude.
Really?
Oh yeah, I absolutely urge you to pick up at least the first one. Shit, for the first one for Switch, dude, that can't be that fucking, can't still be that expensive.
I bet it's full fucking price, bro.
You think so?
I don't know. A lot of the games I was seeing yesterday were full price, and I was like, really? That's full price? For real?
I suppose that's the other side of the Switch value argument, right?
And there's also the fact that the caveat of digital downloads is you can't like get a copy at a store on clearance. It's always going to be this price. They do have sales, and I'm starting to regret not buying some shit on sale, but still.
I mean, like, I don't know. I mean, like, there's no shortage of stories and like, fucking horrible tales of people losing, like, I think there was even one recently of someone who lost their entire EA Origin library on PC, and EA was basically just like, fuck you, too bad.
What do you mean lost their library?
Something happened. Well, do you know what EA's Origin service is?
It's like their Steam.
Yeah, exactly.
But shittier.
Exactly. Something happened to their fucking account, and they lost access to all of their purchases. And, I mean, I'm generalizing. There's a lot more specifics to the story, of course, but the basic gist of it is they lost all their shit, and EA was like, too bad.
Yeesh, really?
Yeah, so there's certainly no shortage of stories, like that, involving people losing shit that they've only purchased digitally. But I don't know. I still feel like they're in the minority, and I don't know if that's really enough of a downside for me to sacrifice the kind of convenience that I can get from not even having to leave the house in order to just fucking download a brand new fucking game. Like, remember when Mario Odyssey came out? I pre-ordered that shit on Amazon and prepaid for it and everything, and had it, set to fastest possible shipping method. And even in doing all that, it still did not get to my fucking house fast enough So even though I was looking at it on the Amazon, order tracking thing or whatever, refreshing it and shit, it still did not get there soon enough. And while it was on its way, I bought it again digitally just so I could download it and not have to wait like another 10 hours or whatever that it took to get there. And then of course once it did, I fucking returned it and got my money back for the physical copy. But sure, maybe I'm in the minority, but dude, I have absolutely no patience. I cannot delay gratification in any fucking...
Why would you wait to play it if you could have it immediately? It doesn't make sense. Plus,
exactly, right?
Dude, I don't want to
It's
lose a fucking cartridge. Dude, the cartridges are so fucking tiny.
So fucking tiny.
Easy to lose. Even though I got a bomb-ass case. This case is so sick. I love it. And it does have cartridge holders, but even with that, you lose that, that's fucking $60 gone. Or I can have it on my Nintendo library, and it's perfectly, absolutely safe.
Yeah, I don't know. Overall, it just seems so much easier. Now, I'm still not ready. That being said, I'm still not ready to completely turn my back on physical media. There are still certain things that I want to have a physical copy of. Even as fucking, as, divisive as the fucking Secret of Mana remake for PS4 was, and PC or whatever else it came out on, even so, I still paid to have a physical fucking copy of the PS4 disc of it. Even so, just little things like that let me know that I'm not ready to completely leave that shit behind. Although, again, that being said, if I didn't have the choice, then I would immediately just say, oh well, fuck it, I'll get everything digitally. So
right. No, I mean, I'm definitely done with analog at this point, especially after moving and having to leave, give up so much of my stuff. And I mean, I've had to give up so many great games that what I once had a great collection is literally down to nothing, and I just don't even care anymore.
Once it gets below a certain point,
yeah,
it stops
that's
being
what it was.
Collection and is more just like a fucking random handful of discs and cases
of
and
bullshit
shit.
I'm just carting around that's essentially worth nothing.
Yeah.
And that I haven't played in years, that isn't even looking pretty or on display in any way it's impressive. Just like a bunch of jewel cases covered in cat hair. No, thank you. Where the hassle of selling them or finding them a good home would be tougher than just giving them away or throwing them out.
Oh yeah, when we moved out of the house in the valley earlier this year, dude, no joke, we paid for a total of 3 huge dumpsters worth of shit that we fucking threw out. Those, that fucking plastic set of drawers that we always used to keep all this huge mess of fucking cables and shit in?
Yeah.
Finally, Jules made me get rid of it. Finally threw that motherfucker out.
Great, good.
And we also finally went through all the DVDs, games, and shit on the, that big black shelf where all the systems sit and shit. We went through there and got rid of 80% of everything on there.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
It's very liberating.
Yeah, it felt awesome. I mean, there was a few brief little arguments over titles like Freaky Friday or Mean Girls. But
oh my God, I hope you kept at least Mean Girls.
Oh, of course. It's funny that was your instinct, because I'm pretty sure that we axed Freaky Friday, but we held on to Mean Girls.
Oh, dude, Freaky Friday is okay. Mean Girls is an iconic classic for all time.
It has aged like fine wine, dude. It has only become more and more appreciated as time has worn on.
Dude, it's perfect. It's just before the cell phone takeover, where it's like one of the last great high school movies of all time.
I thought of it from that perspective. That's a
because they use flip phones, and there's a couple plot points that include. I mean, they're talking about flip phones all the time, but the entire culture is so utterly different. Things like the secret 3-way call, which would never occur today because you talk on your cell phone, where you obviously know who's on the call, and just a bunch of different things that just that still relate. They still work, but that could never occur today. Where today, if that movie were made, it would be all about them posting shit on Facebook.
Yeah,
which is never mentioned once.
Social media permeates every fucking goddamn facet of everybody's life, that you simply could not make a movie like that today and ignore social media and shit like that.
Dude,
Like,
it would be a
force its
sci-fi
way into
movie.
Every fucking plot, like every aspect of the plot, every facet of the story, no matter what, it would force it in there. You know, like, oh, here's a scene where now the girls are talking and something's occurring, but now we need to write in a 30-second bit where someone takes a fucking selfie or someone complains about not getting enough likes on fucking Instagram or something. Oh, there's a Twitter war. Oh shit. You know.
Dude, making a movie about like a high school movie and not including any of that would make it like a unique period piece type.
It'd be like anachronistic
thing.
almost.
Yeah, it would. It would. I guess fucking Superbad maybe. Superbad came later, is also great and really doesn't have that much Facebook shit, but that was also probably came out
like
right around
right
the
at the
crest
cusp too, right?
It was like, I think Superbad came out like 2008 or 9, and Mean Girls came out in 2004, which to me, when Superbad came out, it was like, oh, Mean Girls has been out forever. But in retrospect, they both fall into that same post-2000, but post-2000, post-9/11, pre-social media iPhone, smartphone takeover, where like computers and the internet still were kind of like niche, and there wasn't a computer in literally everyone's fucking hand at all time. So, Mean Girls fucking
aughts, as it fucking were.
Yeah, Mean Girls kicks ass.
That's a very specific point in time.
Yeah, dude. Oh, it sure is.
Is so unlike anything else that at least people like us have fucking lived through. That's fucking crazy. It's really, the end of that period is marked by the release of the first iPhone.
Pretty much.
It doesn't come to a close right then, because even as awesome as the original iPhone was when it was, debuted and shit like that, it didn't get to the point where your average person fucking had one until a couple years after that.
No, it took years to penetrate, dude. Even when it first came out, I was seriously like, why? I'm totally cool with my iPod.
BlackBerry Storm or something? What the fuck?
I did, but that was even before that. I mean, I had an iPod Touch.
I did too. I had an iPod Touch too.
And I was like, I have an iPod Touch. Why would I need a phone with this? Because at that time, well, there were a couple factors that contributed to that. Number one, internet was not nearly as fast or effective on that platform yet. Even using Wi-Fi, the internet was simply not built for phone use. So a lot of sites look like shit. Even just watching porn was not super easy because there wasn't the correct integration. It was a lot tougher. So I was like, it wasn't something, and also like the data service wasn't as fast. It wasn't like, oh shit, we're having an argument anywhere in the world. Let me quickly pull up like who played this extra. Oh, what? Hey, is that the guy is the sound guy who operates the boom in The Office in season 9 actually fucking Russ Hanneman? Like, this Pam fucks? Oh, actually, it is. It's Chris Diamantopoulos or whatever his fucking name is.
That information's at our fingertips.
Same guy. Good thing we're able to find that out instantaneously. That guy acts.
Yeah. It was like back then. It was like maybe 30% of websites on average had a mobile version. Maybe.
And I mean, a mobile version at that time was like for fucking flip phones. So it was not. It took a while. It took a while to catch on. It wasn't until like there was a ton of apps and like your everyday life apps or life like sites all had apps. Like the bank had an app and all this shit. I mean, I got mine. My first iPhone was I want to say it was a 4. It must have been a 4.
Yes, I'm pretty sure actually.
Mine must have been a 4. Yeah, it was definitely a 4 because it wasn't a 5, and I don't think it was a 4. I don't think it was a 4S. I think it might have just been straight. I don't know. It was definitely 4th generation. But either way, it was when they first changed the look, and it had like that flattened outside edge and shit.
That they sort of perfected with the 5. But that was back then. They still hadn't gotten the screen size right either, in my opinion.
Oh no, it was way too small.
Once they hit the 6, that was the perfect compromise. You could read mobile versions of sites and shit like that very easily with the shit, tilted onto its fucking side and shit like that. It was very, very good. The screen on even the 5 and the 5S was still just a little bit too fucking small. I mean, either way.
Way too small.
It probably wasn't, I would safely say like 2010-ish before like most people had a fucking iPhone and stuff.
Dude, I assure you it's way after that because I didn't get one until 2011.
Oof.
So I think it was more like 12, 13 when it was like fully ubiquitous at that point. And it was like, okay, it was no longer like, oh, look at your stupid iPhone. It was just like, oh, something everybody has. I'm wrong. When I say iPhone, I also mean iPhone or Android, because it is like, I mean, I think Android still has the market share. Either way, just
general,
that smartphone paradigm.
We're referring to both or any sort of smartphone really, but we're actually really just kind of referring to iPhones. I mean, shit, it was like,
I mean, it's the
13.
culture that was built by having smartphones available, and that includes Android. Believe I've known just as many crazy selfie, social media obsessed motherfuckers using both platforms. At this point, it's just like, at this point, many people don't even give a fuck, because having an iPhone is no longer the badge of honor that it once was.
I don't know if I don't know if I would go that far. I'm still like, yo, miss me with those fucking green bubs, ho.
I mean, yes, yeah, definitely miss me with the green bubs. I agree, but just from my experience when I go looking around, it really, in my day-to-day life, it's like a 50-50 split, possibly slightly more in favor of Android in terms of actual people I interact with around our age who are using their phone actively and who have a phone. And except
your real
these
world
days,
data would probably be more conclusive than mine.
I'm around a shitload of people every day.
A lot more strangers than I am on a daily basis.
Yeah, and a shitload of people have fucking Android, and it was even the same way in Poland.
Oh,
it was pretty much same kind of split. You know, it was same kind of split, and we're talking like gearheads using it, but
sure, it wasn't mostly thotties that had like a Samsung Galaxy S7 or something with like the cracked screen.
it's a 50-50 split there too.
Shit. Well, I suppose that's probably for the best. I guess. I don't know. I'm still not willing to cede the territory to fucking Android devices.
I mean, I'm not defending them. I'm still not. I mean, you know, I still prefer iPhone, and I still have every intention of getting another one. I'm more than due for an upgrade. I think your 8S Plus is probably on the horizon.
We're about to drop new shit, dude. We're about to drop new shit. I've needed a new phone for a while, and I wanted to get the X, but at this point, we're right on the cusp of then dropping, I think, 3 new models, and they're all rumored to have edge-to-edge displays, so.
All right, well, that's what I want.
I still have yet to even hold an X in my hand, and I don't know, I hear from people that it's really, really fucking impressive, so.
I did. My buddy has one, and it's fucking cool. The dude I was staying with for a while, he has one, and I think it looks great. It seems great. He is lukewarm about it at best. He gave me a bunch of very specific things about it that he just doesn't fuck with. The camera's amazing. The way it looks is so impressive. I love the edge-to-edge screen, but he was just like, eh. And the screen also is significantly noticeably small compared to like an 8S Plus or whatever.
I don't know if I have a hard time comparing those, because that whole line of Samsung devices I've always found to just be almost comically oversized.
I like that shit. I like it.
I mean, shit, you know, to each his fucking own, I suppose.
Yeah.
Like, I took like one look at the oversized Galaxy S7s or 8s or the Galaxy Notes or whatever the fuck they're called, and it's like, bitch, looks like you got a fucking iPad that you're carrying around and talking to like it's a fucking phone. I don't know. It seems ridiculous. But we've really digressed at this point.
Yeah.
To the point where I don't even know what we were talking about anymore. However, I do have a tab remaining open that offers somewhat of a clue as to the last thing that we were discussing, and it shows that Wolfenstein 2 for Switch is indeed $60 fucking.
Right.
So shit, that's that motherfucker's definitely not seeing a price drop anytime fucking soon, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, that's fucking dumb. Soup's dumb. Like, when did that come out?
Oof. I don't know, I want to say 2 years ago, probably. Or the game in general, or for Switch?
The game in general, I guess.
I don't know. Let's see. October 27th. Fucking 2017. Holy fuck. It's a lot newer than I thought. Maybe
Yeah.
perhaps I'm a little out of line in suggesting it should be that much cheaper.
Right.
Bobby?
Right. Yeah. What, can you hear me?
Yeah, no.
No, I'm just saying. I mean, it's a lot.
I mean, when you... It doesn't have a lot of points in its favor, really. Like, it's a port, and it's a year old, and you're still asking me for $60, but, like...
I just don't give a shit.
If I didn't have a PC or a PS4, that wouldn't stop me from picking it up, probably, you know? I would have to get it on something. So... I don't know. It's hard to say. It's hard to say. Did you have anything more that you wanted to cover just on the topic of Switch in general? Or I know you wanted to chop it up about Breath of the Wild a little bit.
I do. About Switch, I want to mention that I needed to have one complete game. So I played through Celeste, knocked it out in about, I guess my play time was like 4.5 hours. I could have done it faster. I should have done it faster. But
how many deaths?
There was, oh my God, over 1,000. I don't know. It was way less than last time, but it was still a shitload. And I mean, it was just as fucking amazing and satisfying. I spammed through the story because I was just trying to play the game and I was just basically just trying to run it. So I didn't really like sit and dive into the story, really get lost in it. But my God, not only was it the first, nothing will be like the first time ever. I mean, I'm so glad I got to be old enough to remember something like that, as opposed to like my first time playing one other iconic game. I will always remember my first time playing through Celeste, which is great. But it was so satisfying, and even though I played it once all the way through 4 months ago, the puzzles are so brilliant that there were certain places when I saw certain boards and shit, and I was like, oh, I remember this one. This is the general gist of what I have to do here, which helped me accomplish a lot more in the game because I knew where I was headed. I knew what to expect.
It says a lot about it, good. Even just individual screens in a game that must compromise, I don't know, thousands probably at the end of the day, that even then still individual screens are like noteworthy and you remember them and shit like that.
Oh yeah, I was like, oh, I'm here. I was like, oh yeah, right, it's this thing. I remember at least that I need to find keys for these sides. Okay, and there's one over here, one over here. I can do classic. This. Oh yeah, it was fucking incredible. Like I was solving the bigger puzzles way more quickly, just knowing generally what I had to do. Plus, I also already knew the mechanics. So like when I got to the next level and it was like, okay, these little tendrils turn into death spots. So I didn't need a couple runs to get used to it. I just immediately was puzzle solving for everything.
Yeah, that was something that that I was having trouble with sometimes. It's like I would forget that I had an ability or something by the time I needed to like to utilize it or some shit like that. I mean, I'm also just bad at those fucking games. But something that I do like about the puzzles and that shit is that almost all of them, the first time you see it, they all seem fucking impossible. Right. Until the moment then that realization dawns on you, and then they don't seem impossible at all anymore. Quite.
Oh, it's so satisfying. That moment when you figure it out is so satisfying.
It's really, really well implemented, and the dopamine reward is fucking is precisely tuned, I would say.
Yeah, and absolutely.
I mean, coming from me especially, that's man, it is truly a diamond in the rough of video games like this shit for me to really latch on and actually play something for as like Celeste for as long as I have. That shit is not easy for me.
Right. I mean, it's worth finishing. Like this, the satisfaction of completing it is great. And I mean, finishing out the story, actually playing through the story is just so key. That was so key to my enjoyment of it because the gameplay and the story they are very much intertwined, and the story is just so fucking weird and good, and like it's, oh my God, the story is so much in the mood of something like the Scott Pilgrim comics, with just this like everything is beautiful and bright and colorful, and in fact the art style even reminds me of that a little bit now that I think of it.
It does now that you mention
it. Definitely the cartoony art style definitely is like Brian Lee O'Malley inspired with the like it's clearly it's like a westernized anime in a really modern way, just like Scott Pilgrim is.
Wow, that
where it has that like manga inspiration.
In the back of my brain since I started playing that fucking game. I cannot. It's now that you've said it out loud, it seems so obvious. I cannot believe.
Oh my god!
Place that.
Yeah, it's crazy. Actually, looking at the art, like these looks like Brian Lee O'Malley could have been like an art consultant.
Yeah, I almost
on the way this is drawn.
Hop out of the next board and like show me how to bounce around.
Absolutely, like, dude, the face shapes and the eyes and everything. It's like unfucking
very
canny.
Specific things like that too. In addition to the color palette, I think used not just in like the hand drawn shit, but like the whole game overall. The color palettes are very, very similar.
Oh yeah, this is insane. Looking at them side by side, it definitely looks inspired by fucking Mal's work. That is awesome. Oh, that's so cool. I mean, it's a great fucking thing to be inspired by. Are you kidding? That's like, you know, that is, and hopefully into eternity will be remembered as one of the greatest fucking comics ever. For fuck's sake. So yeah, really cool. So Celeste, so enjoyable, really great, and I'm shout out fucking Scott Pilgrim. I'm looking forward to diving into Celeste and like really finishing it. But
not shout out Michael Cera though. He weirds me out.
No, not shout out Michael Cera. And
shout out Scott Pilgrim.
Like semi shout out. I mean, the movie was okay. When I saw there was a lot about the movie that was awesome. Like when he has his first Ramona dream and a fucking choir version of the Fairy Fountain theme plays.
Dude.
Like, that is amazing.
The movie was better than it had any right to be.
Sure, Edgar Wright
absolutely
did it. It was like cramming the weirdness of that story, and the fact that even by Mal's own admission, the ending of that story is so odd and off and like not quite perfect and just weird in general, where it's like, oh yeah, you know, he's getting inside everybody's heads through like this weird metaphysical thing, and we're just gonna move past that and save the day. Yeah, it's so I'm so into Anno Land at the end, it's ridiculous. And even Mal, in like an interview years later, I read something where he was like, oh yeah, you know, it's whatever, where he wasn't like, oh, nobody gets it. He was basically like, whatever. But fucking,
which is the only appropriate way to treat something like that.
Yeah, right. I really like that. I was like, okay, cool. So I'm not an idiot for being like, this seems a little odd, but still is fucking amazing. And the movie did a lot of things really right, and it also paid really good homage to video games in a way that very few, if any, other movies really have, where it's like, okay, this movie isn't about video games, but we obviously have played video games. And it was very faithful to the comic where it needed to be. The soundtrack was fucking awesome. That Beck, of all people, fucking curated and wrote some of the shit for it and did a great job.
I didn't know that before, but I feel like that makes sense, because Beck kind of looks like Scott Pilgrim and Michael Cera at the same time a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, Michael Cera was a fucked up casting for Scott. Like, he did a good job, but he's a simpering little wimp, and Scott Pilgrim is like a bit.
He's supposed to be a hero.
He is, but he's also a piece of shit. Like, Michael Cera did a good job acting.
It's funny. I was going to say almost the exact same thing. Like, technically, Michael Cera acted well. He acted well.
Right.
Absolutely. But there's something about, I don't know if it's like him personally, or maybe it's just his face, or something about his demeanor, or something, I don't know. It just made me not want to like his fucking character. And I feel that way almost all the time whenever I see Michael Cera doing fucking anything. You know how sometimes you just see fucking people and their face makes you angry for fucking some reason, or it makes you feel some type of way? Like, his fucking face, that dude has that effect on me. I don't know what it is.
Oh, for sure, yeah. And that's not Scott Pilgrim. Scott Pilgrim has a redeeming, charming, sweet side that makes everyone like him, even if you're like, oh, you're such a piece of shit, but I still want to help you out.
He's
like, I don't want to help. Like, he is.
Way. Despite his faults, he's kind of endearing, right? The person who was going to play Scott Pilgrim needed to be able to let their whole persona sort of fade to the background and become Scott Pilgrim, right?
Yeah.
No matter who they were, no matter what actor it was, they needed to be more Scott Pilgrim than, hey, I'm this actor. And Michael Cera just maybe just for me, but Michael Cera is way too much Michael Cera. He's all Michael Cera and almost all parts Michael Cera, almost no parts Scott Pilgrim. Every time, every fucking scene, I was like, first in my mind, I was like, there's Michael Cera saying some lines. At no point was I like completely, wrapped up and been like, oh, look at Scott Pilgrim's doing this. Scott Pilgrim's interacting with this person in this way. No, it was always, oh God, look at Michael fucking Cera.
Right. That was my main issue with it, for sure. That was a big tough part. I mean, he did what he could, and he definitely got like the I'm a dumb doofus, but I also know what to be a badass kind of way, which is a really part of what makes Scott Pilgrim so unique as a character, is that he is a dumb doofy loser who can't keep a fucking job as like a dishwasher to save his life. He's just a total piece of shit. But then when he needs to be a hero, he's instantly like a legit Dragon Ball style superhero. But everyone still is like, God, Scott, you're such a piece of shit. Like, really? You had to get in a fight right now and beat the shit. I beat this guy so bad he turned into coins. Like, what a dick. You're the real dick, Scott. So, I mean, fuck.
The fact that people react to him that way, it comes off more as additional adversity that his character needs to fight through and persevere in spite of, as opposed to like legit criticisms of his character that make you not like him.
Right, and he does throughout the story. I mean, that part of what makes that story so great is the endless amounts of character development. You know, he gets a job and he tries to get his life in order and he tries to he gets his shit together a little bit. So like,
arc. It's a good fucking hero
arc. A great hero arc. You know, he realizes that he needs to get his shit together for his own sake. It's a great fucking character. So I mean, in a 2-hour movie, I guess they did what they could.
Dude, I'm saying that movie was better than it had any right to be.
Yeah. So wait, how the fuck did we start talking about Scott Pilgrim?
I mean, like, look what happened when they tried to make Warcraft of all things into a fucking movie.
Oh my God, I wanted to watch that.
There would be no possible way that they could allow to be fucked up, and just you would not think there's any way they could just fuck it up. But somehow they managed to drop the ball in every possible area, and it was fucking oof. So yeah, Scott Pilgrim the movie defied the odds and still managed to be pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
And it shares a unique aesthetic similarities with
Celeste. That was where it came from. Yeah, so Celeste, that shit's cool. But I kind of want to get to the main event of what's really been on my mind. And that's Breath of the Wild. And so, I mean, I've got some issues. Now, granted, full disclosure, I'm playing it right now. So, like, it's a phenomenal fucking game. It's amazing, and it has so much going for it that kicks fucking ass. It's just that once I beat the 4th Divine Beast, I hit a brick wall. And usually in a normal Zelda game, if I triumphed over all this, and I've definitely sunk, I mean, dude, I must have sunk like, it has to be 20 to 40 hours easy into this game at this point. And when I'm donezo, like, I beat all these bosses, I want to walk up to Ganon and be able to fuck him up. And yet I go to Hyrule Castle and I can't even fucking take out like the general mobs and it's not like a get good scenario. It's like my weapons are such shite, they barely are doing damage scenario. And it is insane to me that like I'm walking in here and I have this fucking garbage ragtag armor. Like I guess the concise way to put it is, if you don't emphasize your own collecting, which the game does not guide you to in any way other than saying you should do this, you end up undergeared with no money. And what I have to do right now is farm until I can go just fight the last boss, when I never had to farm once all the way to that point. And now I'm basically grinding. And it's not just grinding, it's finding shit, which I can I can use the Hyrule Compendium to find 3 fucking deer, kill them all, and then what?
No,
so I can get some meat.
Where they make farming like at least pseudo accessible, right? Not Breath of the Wild.
No, it's not that it's not good or not fun. It's just not accessible. And it's a
never
pain
as
in the
simple
ass.
as go to this area, kill this thing. I mean, sometimes
you have to find
it kind
this
of is,
shit.
but it's rare.
Dude, I am right now
Takes a lot of
having
meta research.
legit. I had to Google to be like, where can I get some shields because a Guardian just broke all of mine. I had to Google where I can find some fucking shields. Like, and if I want to just get, I mean, it's not as simple as just going to the shield store and buying a fucking shield. And even if it were, I would have to farm fucking deer and apples and shit to make meals to make rupees because fucking shit doesn't drop them. Like, it's a phenomenal game.
What a fun problem to have in a Zelda game, or at least
I mean, and that's cool.
Problem to have in a
And then all that is cool. All that is cool, and like it's dope. But I'm at the end of the game, and I don't feel super OP. And there is no like, what's the best weapon and armor unless you get the DLC and power up the fucking. Apparently, if you power up the Master Sword, that's the best. You have to get the DLC.
Just as a rule of thumb, I am never talking about the DLC. Also, for any game, I'm always just talking about the main game, especially in this fucking situation.
Okay.
The first thought, as you have been laying out the sort of issues you've been running into, is that I'm shocked that it is you running into this problem and not me. Because normally, history would tell us that this is the kind of problem I have in RPGs and shit. Usually not the kind of problem that you have. You are always more, more prone to fucking grinding and shit, as you've been mentioning earlier, right? You're always the one who's fucking grinding, figuring out how to power level and shit like that, whereas it's always me that's just barreling through the fucking story and with barely a regard for anything else. And then, before I fucking know it, I end up at the start of Mount Gagazet in FF10 or some shit, and all of a sudden, oh fuck, I need to grind for 10 hours before I can move beyond this fucking point, right? This is usually a problem that I run into and not you. So it's surprising that in this game specifically, our roles have been.
Well, it's because in those games, in something like FF10, grinding is simply a matter of playing the game. Whereas in this, you must actively seek out not just one thing, but a multitude of things. You have to find ancient springs so you can get this set of armor, and then find this shit and find more so you can upgrade it, because if you don't upgrade it, it's useless.
Yeah, you can very easily sit there and kill shit for 10 hours straight and make absolutely zero progress.
Yeah, which is kind of lame. Like, I'm fucking I'm now Googling to find out where can I, because in 5 minutes a bunch of Guardians broke all my shields. So I'm now Googling where I can find shields so that I can just find some shit. I need to find shields just so I can go back to hunting Guardians and farming them so I can get shit so I can upgrade my pants. Because maybe I can get a fucking tunic right now. I could just barely afford a fucking tunic. That, like, I think, do I have enough ancient fucking coils? How many ancient coils do I have in this motherfucker? I have 23. Holy crap. Okay, I can actually go get the pants. That's great. Or go get the tunic. Not powered up. And not powered up. It's not as strong as my normal blue garbage tunic. I'm trying to get all the ancient armor and power that shit up, because that's also Guardian resist.
That is what I would recommend too.
It's Guardian resist, but what good is that going to do me against fucking Ganon? I mean, I just have to get to his ass. Dude, honestly, it's a silver Lionel. There's a place when you're going to Hyrule Castle right before you get to Ganon where the doors close and you have to fight a silver Lionel, and I just straight up could not do enough damage to kill him, where even if I used all my healing items and tried to outlast him, I couldn't even get him down to half HP because my swords are such fucking trash.
Well, first, I would say that. Now, I don't want to go over this point by point, whereas you discuss a gripe, and I'm like, well, this is what you do to counter that.
Tell me, please.
Well, I'm saying let's not go through a whole thing where we do that, but for in this instance, right, I would say generally when you find yourself encountering situations like that, usually means that there is another solution to the situation that you are not that you're not trying. For instance, Guardians, right? Why you shouldn't be worrying about going through fucking shields when you can two-shot them with ancient arrows,
which cost a fucking fortune.
They do, but there's ways to get them and make them. That makes it more efficient to take them out with those than sitting there and trying to just hack them to fucking pieces.
How do you make them?
Well, I mean, make them at the tech lab or whatever the fuck it is, right?
Yeah, you buy them for fucking 400 rupees for 5.
Yeah, dude, there are many ways to easily farm mad rupees. Like, ways.
It's getting meats. That's it. That's all I found. It's an effective means of getting rupees is farming meat and making it into meals and selling the meals. That's the only thing that's effective.
Well, depending on what kind of meals you're making, yeah.
I mean, I have a ton of minerals, but apparently they're used for upgrading shit too, and I don't want to get rid of them and then need these minerals, which are way harder to get than the other shit. So fucking dumb. Oh,
yeah, they're around the Zora realm. There's a lot of shit up there you can farm for that stuff. Do you have the Master Sword yet?
No, because I don't have enough fucking hearts, bro. I have all 3 wheels of stam, and I have 9 hearts. No, wait.
Stam, goddamn.
I have 9 hearts. You have all 3 wheels of stam, 9 hearts, and a ton of fucking like shrines to find. I don't know. How do I know how many shrines I found?
I haven't played it recently enough.
I think it's on the load screen.
But I mean, I think I've found about 100. I think.
Right.
And that was with me not intentionally like making a point to seek them out. Maybe in a few instances I did, but overall, like, not really. The thing is, wait, how many rows of hearts is 9? Is that even 2 rows or still 1?
No, it's still 1 row.
Yeah, like, what I find curious is that you rushed that quickly to take out all 4 divine beasts, right? Like, I spread out my conquest of those motherfuckers like fucking crazy. Like, I had a full set of ancient armor, the Master Sword, the Hyrulean Shield, or whatever the fuck it's called, and all that shit before I went to go and take on the last fucking divine beast.
No, dude, this is what when you're talking about, like, my style is more to grind, the grinding shit was definitely before my life took a turn to be more emphasized on speed running, whereas now I will grind where I need to get through, but it's more about efficient tactics. Like with Chrono Trigger, I forget how far I realized I could get without having to grind at all, but it was far as fuck where I could take out bosses without having to worry about healing items with my ideal party, as long as I knew the strats. And that's the same way with this. With this, as soon as I knew the objective, once I had 1 down, I was like, that's what I'm doing. I'm going straight from 1 to the next.
Really grinding, I would say.
I think you can get all the way to and through Mag. I think Magus is probably where it gets
iffy. Starts to get a little rough, yeah.
I think it's probably where it gets iffy. I'm trying to remember.
How many hearts do you need to get the Master Sword?
13. You told me last week.
13. Oh, yeah. And didn't I also tell you how you could trade in your stamina things?
Yes, but yes, except it costs 220 per swap.
See, I'm finding this all very bizarre. All these issues that you're describing to me that you're encountering are typically the kind of things that I would have.
Well, I just rushed through the whole game. Clearly, what you're saying is, I mean, you took time and went. And I also, dude, I got a shitload of shrines. It's not like I didn't get fucking shrines here. I got a shitload of shrines too. Oh yeah, this is so dumb. I got a shitload of shrines. It didn't make a goddamn bit of difference. Let's see. It'll tell me how many I've got. And I mean, I just was rushing from one to the next. So 48.
Oh yeah, dude. Do you even have?
Holy shit!
Do you even have the entirety of the world map uncovered?
No, I think I'm missing 2 regions.
Yeah, Dude.
But dude, the issue is when I see a new region, I just go straight to the tower and open it. Dude, also the temperature thing to me was a nuisance that did not, for me, added nothing to the gameplay. It was if you needed one piece of armor, that would be one thing. But the fact that it kicks you and makes you do 2 pieces where you were not in any position to get that shit, it's just, there doesn't seem to be any flow logic to where you get the shit you need to go to another area, which is very much in line with the first Zelda, not with Link to the Past, which had sensible flow. It generally pushed you in the right direction where you got where you needed to go, if only because everything else was closed off. Original Zelda, super open world, go wherever the fuck you want, you can't do jack shit. As opposed to, like, I'm blocked off. But it was really like, original Zelda, you could go everywhere. You weren't blocked off by, in Link to the Past, you were blocked off by things like the boulders you couldn't pick up without the Power Glove or the Titan's Mitt. That was huge, used everywhere, all throughout the game until you got the Titan's Mitt. So all throughout the entire light world, at the very least, it's keeping you reined in. Okay, you can only go here. You are not supposed to go here yet. You know that. And you know once you get this piece of gear, come back here and check this shit out. There is not a lick of that in this game. In this game, it's like, well, you need some cold-resistant gear. Good luck. Figure out how to find it, which is very much in line with the original Zelda, but, like,
that's cool, but at the same time, when you go to a new area, you discover, oh, I need this. At that very moment, you have everything that you need in order to go and get whatever it is that area requires. You don't have to wait for some other sort of artificial gating mechanism. You just go and get it.
Yeah, which is cool, but there's no logic to figuring out how to get it. It doesn't, like, coax me in the right direction. What bothers me that I'm having to look up such trivial items like, where do I get more shields? Where do I get a weapon that has better than 20 attack? Okay, well, I can get it from these Lynels, but they're destroying me because my armor and shields aren't good enough. So I'm back to that bullshit again, having to grind this garbage to get items I don't want so I can fight the shit I want to fight. I'm grinding. Seriously, I'm killing deer and boars and fucking wolves. I'm just hunting rando animals to get meat to sell for rupees so I get the shit that I want. Or right now, I just have to get shields back because a guardian broke fucking 4 of them, and I want to spend this gold on fucking the right armor. Like, for fuck's sake. It's just like,
this is very interesting experience that you're describing to me.
It's brutal, dude. It's brutal because I love the game. Let me tell you something. Until I beat the last Divine Beast, I loved the fact that I was like, wow, I'm gunning through this with garbage armor and fucking hearts, and only because I'm learning the mechanics and I'm getting pretty good at them am I able to navigate these battles. And definitely the fucking Divine Beast bosses, entirely because of mechanics and sometimes just figuring out different ways to do shit, was so cool. And then I finished the last one and I was like, cool, let me go see how I can fare against Ganon. And it's like, all right, well, they're hyper-powered guardians. All right, I got through those, cool. Got through even the castle path. I got all the way up through the castle path, basically to Ganon.
That shit's
and then
fucking crazy once you get there.
I got all the way up there. I got all the way through the thing I was dodging enemies and using my climbing skills and my great stamina, and then it forces me into a locked room with one of these Lynels, and I just absolutely can't beat him. So it's really, the issue here is not the final boss, it's this rando mob that I just cannot fucking kill right now. It's pissing me the fuck off. Is fucking, the fairies are super cool.
I feel like because my fucking brain is racing trying to think of, solutions to every individual obstacle or whatever or hardship that you're encountering. But the more it tries to do that, the more I'm left with this feeling that, like, there's got to be something far simpler and way more general in terms of just, like, game playing habits that you must just not be doing. And it's been a while since I really picked that game up, but I hesitantly say that you might just need to be going to way more fucking shrines.
I mean, that's possible because I just gunned it through this motherfucker, and like I don't have any urge to just run around aimlessly finding shrines. Like I'm looking at fucking maps to find that shit because I don't feel the need. Like the horseback riding, okay, well where the fuck do I find a new horse? Because my horse is garbage.
In my whole fucking playthrough of it, I hardly ever used it.
Well, that also explains it because I'm trying to gun from place to place. I want to get this bitch beat. I want to see those credits, man.
Between gliding around and fast traveling, I didn't feel like there was much need for it, right? But like, because what you're describing, it really seems like you're fucking having a very sort of fucking a very almost frustrating journey.
Having a bad trip, dude. I'm having a bad trip. I mean, I'm loving it, but it took a dark turn, and it is very frustrating.
The vibrations went bad, and now the
they did. All dude, absolutely. The vibrations went bad, and like, look, it's just such a bummer because I've been having such a blast with the fucking game, and it just, to me, it just there's so much that's so good about it, but the fact that the flow just brick walls there, and there's just this rando barrier where it's just like, I don't know, I was following the direction of the story and the gameplay, and it was like, beat the 4 divine beasts and then go fight Ganon. But like, that's not enough. And I guess I'm used to games in the modern age coaching you a bit more on like, hey, these systems are really important. Make sure you're doing this and integrating that into everything. Like, where more of the quest would be about, hey, cook these fucking items. All right, cool. I see. I'm cooking these. Hey, sell this to this guy. Whatever. Do these things to just teach you the systems of the game, as opposed to me thinking. That's why I had to look online to determine how to cook, because I was like,
I had to also,
which is dumb because it's critical for the game. And I was at the first divine beast, and I was like, when am I going to learn how to cook? I need some healing items for this. And they were like, well, it's not going to teach you how to cook. I was like, are you fucking serious? Apparently the fucking king old man says something in passing about cooking, and that's it. Yeah, right? So, dude, I'm just like, I mean, I'm playing it right now, and I intend to beat it. I just, like, I don't know.
It troubles me that your experience has been so, like, disjointed, which is...
So disjointed.
Whereas mine was effortlessly... it was just, the flow of it was just so effortless when I fucking played through it, right? And it's funny that one of my highest compliments for the game is one that something that it's a standard that by which I judge almost any open world game that manages to hold my attention long enough for me to beat it. Something like Skyrim, right? Which is, I feel like the true strength of an open world game is the unseen sort of presence of like this invisible hand that's kind of guiding you gently off the beaten path into like situations or locations or whatever that just so happen to present you with an interesting scenario unfolding, or like an interesting quest to go off and do, or or whatever it is. Skyrim was great like that. Remember when we were playing through Skyrim way back in the day, we would often at like the beginning of the afternoon when we first sat down, we'd pick a direction in the map and just start walking.
And shit would go down, dude.
Yeah, and before we knew it, fucking like 6-7 hours would have passed, and just by merely choosing that direction, heading off into it, that was all we had to do in order for the game to fucking then, at that point, take over and just fucking effortlessly and seamlessly lead us into all this myriad adventures and all this, all this shit occurring. And that's the thing that made Skyrim, at least for me, feel so special and successful and awesome, right? Like any game like Far Cry, Assassin's Creed, or what the fuck ever can throw a whole bunch of little fucking icons on a map and be like, look at all these things you can go fucking do. I mean, and then you only later figure out that there's only 5 different types of things, and all those icons are just like a different variation of one of those 5 different fucking things, right? And you're just left to go and sort of strike out on your own and make your own fucking path or whatever. There's nothing in the world that serves to sort of provide an unseen sense of guidance in any capacity, really. Skyrim, on the other hand, pulls that shit off fucking effortlessly, and it was such a great game because of it. I felt like that effect was present in Breath of the Wild easily as much as it was in Skyrim, if not more so. And I find it very surprising that it seems like your experience has been the exact fucking opposite.
It is. And I think that also, I wonder if today I would never play Skyrim like that. You know, I just, the way I play Game State, that was a long time ago. The way I play Game
State. Don't have the
State.
kind of time that we did back then, where we could just put in Skyrim and then not move for the rest of the day.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely true as well, for sure. But I'm just way more motivated to beat games quickly and move on to the next one now and just get to the end. And like, I could dive in and fuck around with it once it's done, but like, I want to finish it. And I think with Skyrim, Skyrim eventually I did seek out how to power game it and shit. But I mean, I put a ton of time into Skyrim and definitely did feel great about just picking it up, turning it on, just running in a direction because I knew shit would go down.
You had your own almost 200 hours played fucking game in Skyrim.
Something like that. Yeah, it was fucking insane how much I played of that game. Yeah. I loved that shit. It was great. I mean, I did everything.
When
and then
I
eventually
see some
learned
shit
to power
like
game.
that getting you in that way, that's an indication to me that game is fucking something special. Because Skyrim specifically is not the kind of game that would normally grab you like that for that many fucking hours.
No, but that also was so long ago, and my tastes have definitely changed. I was not speedrunning then at all. Like, I was definitely much younger, and I mean, dude, that was like 2011.
Yeah, it was like 2011 and 2012, I think.
Dude, yeah, which is fucking crazy how long ago that. I mean, that was almost, dude, Skyrim. We were playing Skyrim almost 7 years ago. So
Jesus,
definitely
that breaks my fucking mind.
Yeah, it's crazy. So definitely. I mean, there are likely kids out there who were born after Skyrim came out who are playing it.
God, that's fucking insane.
Crazy.
There are kids whose first system ever was an Xbox 360.
Dude, there's kids out there who are consciously playing games whose first was an Xbox One, I'm sure. When did that come out? 2013?
No, more recently, but like, maybe not, but either way, still.
Oh yeah, right. I guess it's an exaggeration because I'd be like 2 years old.
So anyway, it vexes me.
Yeah.
That you are having so much trouble in that area, right? Like, are you doing side quests at all? Have you done any?
I mean, a little bit, but mostly my entire mission has been destroy the 4 divine beasts. Kill this shit. Do this shit. As soon as I realized each one was going to give me a power, I was like, this is going to have the biggest impact on my ability to destroy shit. Let me get all the powers. And that was not the case at all. They don't do fuck all when it comes to me. I mean, I haven't tried using the electric power on a Guardian yet. But, I mean, the restore life power is super helpful. But they're definitely not making me this OP monster. I got all 4 of the abilities right out the gate. Then you get the Divine Beast abilities, which are cool. I mean, they got serious cooldowns. And then, you know, now I'm stuck and I'm just hunting bullshit. Like, yeah, I see. I mean, obviously I'm missing like 72 shrines. So that is a lot. And I probably naturally would pick up a bunch more gear. Of course, it wasn't until I had finished the 4th Divine Beast that I realized that I could be finding Korok seeds, of which I had like 3, and there's 900 in the game, and you need them to expand your inventory. I had no idea I could expand my inventory like that. Yeah. Like, I mean, granted, yes, the old games had tons of that shit, and I guess it's just that I'm bitching about stuff that I find endearing about the old Zelda games, because the game is just so much larger that it's just like, motherfucker, Link to the Past, sure, fuck around with me and tell me that, like, don't tell me how to get, like, the half magic is actually double magic and how to do it and all this shit. Because there's only so many fucking things you can do in the game in only so many locations. I mean, dude, I could basically draw out the relative map of fucking Link to the Past with really good accuracy of the world map and basically generally plot out where you should go. Granted, I also have played that game a ridiculous number of times through for like 30 fucking years. But still, the point stands that it's just like, I don't know. I mean, that's also biased because of how many times I've played it, so it's not really scientific.
I mean, that's also like, that's a rough comparison to make. I mean, I don't have any figures, of course, but I can't even imagine by how many factors the Breath of the Wild map is larger than the Link to the Past map.
Probably.
If you could even find a way to accurately compare them.
I don't think. I mean, I think that the Link to the Past map is probably like the equivalent of. I don't even know if. I don't think it would even be as big as one of these zones.
Probably not.
When you consider steps and shit and number of screens.
Blown away by how big the Breath of the Wild map ended up being. Like, dude, I couldn't fucking wrap my mind around it at first, how fucking enormous it was. Like, seriously, it's fucking crazy. But, I mean, I'm not, like, first let me say, I'm not surprised that you're running into this sort of issue after busting through the 4 Divine Beasts that quickly. You know?
I'm annoyed by it.
Well, clearly.
I mean, why would they tell me to go fight this shit if it's like, oh, fight this, but don't forget to do all this other bullshit?
Like, I don't know. I don't think that the intention was for you to go do that with the exclusion of absolutely all other activities.
Well, they're just like, yo, Calamity Ganon is fucking the world up. We need you to fucking fix this shit. I'm like, oh, shit. That sucks. I better fucking go help. And then they're like, oh, wait, go collect apples and kill deer and just slaughter the entire wildlife population of this fucking great land. Make a bunch of food, sell it back to the natives, and then maybe we'll sell you some pants so you can go save the world.
See, that description makes me, I mean, on one hand, I can clearly see how that's 100% accurate. But it also just screams to me that there's a huge fucking aspect of the game that you are missing out on somehow. And
I don't know, bro.
Like, I mean, granted, there was a few points where I got a little weird in OCD and like decided to do absolutely as many fucking side quests as I possibly could and shit like that. But the way I remember my journey through that game, it seemed pretty fucking organic. It's like, all right, I'm getting the first Divine Beast. Now I'm doing these things, and now while I'm involved in doing this, I'm actually going out and, you know, getting this type of gear. I'm finding this fairy, and then I'm, you know, discovering this areas of the world map. Now I'm getting the second Divine Beast. Okay, cool, that was dope. Now I'm going to go and uncover these areas of the world map. Now I'm going to go and upgrade these bits of gear. Then after that, I'm going to go and, I don't know, and fucking start working on the Master Sword quest. And then, all right, now after knocking out a bunch of that shit, now I'm going to go tackle the third Divine Beast. Then I'm going to go farm shrines for a little while. Now I know how many hearts I need to get the Master Sword, so I'm going to go finish that grind off real quick, swing by, scoop the Master Sword. You know, like it seemed very organic in the way that it presented alternative goals and shit in between the big major objectives and shit. That's how how I remember it anyway.
Because I feel the exact opposite.
Yeah, which is
I managed to basically avoid what it seems to be like the entire game by going.
It certainly is starting to
sound
like that. I'm having trouble reconciling it.
Like, I'm right now going back and doing what seems to be like a day one quest at Kakariko Village. I had to look up where the fuck the Great Fairy Fountains are, and I finally was looking up how I can just some insanely day one shit. And it was like, before you can do this day one shit, you have to put a diaper on, which is this quest to find the Great Fairy Fountain. And I was like, well, shit, I've already found 2 from looking it up, so I'm just running with this asshole to do it, to finish these Kakariko Village quests so that I can open up a new it's like, yes, I think I just basically missed the game by barreling through what it was telling me I should do.
I mean, to a certain extent, it's not. It's hard to blame you, really. You know, it sounds to me like you approached it the way you would approach any classic Zelda game. Okay, now I'm Link. This is what's happening with fucking Princess Zelda.
Yeah.
This is what Ganon's up to. This is how I go and eventually take out fucking Ganon. All right, now I'm going to go set about that task. And
Right.
in
Time to
any
do
other
work.
Zelda game, there's those very intentional sort of time gates or whatever to your progress, whether you have to go get this specific item to do this dungeon or whatever the fuck it may be. You know, there's very intentional gates in that process that limit through one way or another how quickly you can get through the whole fucking game. So with that sort of mentality and approach, you know, when you started this game, I guess it kind of is no surprise that you blazed right to the end of the you know, the whole divine beast fucking thing, because there's nothing in place to slow you down at all or prevent you in any way from just doing that as quickly as possible if you so desire.
Dude, that really sounds like that's it. I see Zelda. It's like I see the name. It's like, hey, here's Link, here's Zelda, here's the story of the quest, and there's Ganon in his form in this game, and here's what you need to do. Do this shit, go fight Ganon, and you're ready to go. All right, cool. That's it. Sounds good.
Yeah,
Let's do
A
it.
to B to C to D,
Right.
etc. And that's just how you fucking...
Right. Like, if you want to go get the jars or do this puzzle or that puzzle, okay, do it. But if not, just go bust down Ganon and, you know, take him
quickly as you want.
down.
And to its and to its credit, I mean, clearly it allows you to do that, right? But it seems to be at the expense of pretty much any other sort of enjoyment.
Yeah, right, which is rough. So I don't know. I mean, and it just sucks that like the biggest issue is because I broke the flow of the game. I can't naturally go back through it.
Yeah, and it was very intentional on my part to do a certain amount of things in between each divine beast, right? Because I knew, or at least it seemed anyway, that after you kill the last divine beast, you go right to Ganon, and that's more or less, if you want it to be, that's the end of the game. So instinctively, I didn't want to get to the end of the game because I was enjoying it so much. So I tried to, you know, stretch out that whole initial main quest as much as fucking possible. And in doing so, I found almost a never-ending source of organic ways to kind of, you know, get distracted. But, I guess you fucking didn't.
Yeah, dude. No, dude. I just, you know, it's these days I'm all about speed and sequence breaking wherever possible. And this game had a lot of that all the way up until this point where it was like, nope, it doesn't matter that you got here this quickly with this efficiency. We're gonna, you know, you have to fucking do this. And I thought I spent a ton. I guess it was less than 20, maybe. I feel like I played way more than 20 hours of this. But it also could have been like working through certain shrines or fighting the same enemy. I don't know. I'm very curious also, you know, one of the DLCs, you get this thing called Hero's Path, which will show you your actual movements from up to like 100 to 200 hours earlier in the game. So you can, if you have less than that, you basically can see the way you've moved around the map for the entire time you've played the game, which is very interesting to me. And I'd be really curious to see mine versus yours.
Yeah, you know what? While you were saying that, it occurred to me. Now, this might be a real stretch, but I wonder if the way that you've busted through it with such purpose, right? I wonder if that is a function in any way of the fact that you've played it entirely in handheld mode.
Interesting.
Because
why? Because I'm not as inclined. I mean, I don't know. Maybe
because you're not
as inclined to like sit and enjoy
and be immersed
view.
in it, right? I mean, granted, you know, I played it with the, you know, with the whole surround sound and like a big projector screen and shit like that, right? But even if I'd been playing on like a, you know, a smaller, just regular flatty or something, I feel like I probably would have had mostly the same experience. It really encourages you to just kind of like chill and fucking zone out and absorb the whole environment and become immersed in it. And a lot of that and how successful it was at sort of getting you to be immersed. A lot of that is what fueled my my desire to just kind of bust around and just, you know, roam around and check it out and, like, you know, see what's over this way and stuff. I feel, at least for me personally, that if instead I had played it entirely on just the handheld screen, I would have been much more pragmatic about the way that I played through it and less inclined to sort of dilly-dally, for lack of a better term.
Right.
But at the same time, knowing what I know about you, I feel like that probably wouldn't have made fucking any difference whatsoever.
Right, yeah. I think it's the function of how I play games today.
Than you would be.
I think also what you said about the time might be right, especially like I already was getting super into speedrunning, and as I had less time. Like even when I started out doing, you know, just like Zelda speed runs, Link to the Past shit, just being like, okay, I have 4 hours tonight, I can run this game twice. Cool, I'm gonna do that. Great. So now I was like, even though I had, you know, multiple hours at a clip, it still was like, all right, in a 4 hour burst, I'm gonna try to see this game. Whereas games when I was younger would span months playing just one game. Now I want to get through a game in like a weekend and see the whole fucking thing. And then I'll go back and like dig in and enjoy it and get really crazy good. But I want to blaze through the story and see what the game has to offer. And the story in this is cool. I really like it. Also, have you ever heard the fan theory that every Zelda, it's not that it's an interconnected timeline, but that every Zelda is just a retelling of the exact same story? I love that.
Yeah, I have. And frankly, I feel like that would be way less try hard than what they're currently doing, which is trying to say that there's like any sort of fucking timeline. Have you seen any of those graphics that exist, some in an official capacity actually, that try to fucking illustrate the timeline of games? It gets so comedically fucking confusing and tangled up. It defies belief. It's ridiculous. With like all these different fucking dimensions and like the time world and like, you know, this time frame and that time frame. I mean, they just bend over backwards to try to make them all fucking connected, and it just comes off as fucking absurd. Do you know what I'm talking about at all? Have you seen that shit?
Oh yeah, that was official. It was in some Zelda thing that came out with Skyward Sword.
Yeah, the Zelda Encyclopedia or the Hyrule.
Something like that. Yeah, I think that was it. And yeah, it was really dumb. And I mean, there are a couple exceptions like Link's Awakening and shit, but and I guess the Oracle's games. But I like the idea that all these stories of the hero, the princess, and Ganon is just different versions of. I mean, they all ultimately have those elements that are really important. And actually, the Oracle's games, the final boss, if you beat them both, was actually Ganon ultimately. So that one would fall in it. I never actually did that because I only beat Ages, sadly, because I loved that game when I played it.
I played Oracle of Seasons. I loved that motherfucker too.
Dude, they were so good. I'm sad. I would love to do, because you had to like do them both, and you get like a code or something, and you put it into the second game, and that unlocks Ganon as the secret final boss. Because I guess they never reveal it till the very, very end. That it's like, oh shit, it's actually, and that's a great mechanic too. And they also were different games.
Did you fuck with the Minish Cap?
I never played Minish Cap.
I really fucked with the Minish Cap. I like that shit a lot.
I heard it was off the hook.
It was another example of Nintendo doing this like weird sort of anthropomorphism with fucking characters and shit. Like in the Minish Cap, you had this like hat that would
it was a talking hat. Yeah, Mario,
oddly enough,
fighting that shit
would be brought back. It's funny, it never even occurred to me that Mario Odyssey is not even the first Nintendo game that we have seen where a sentient hat is that the protagonist wears is interacting with him directly and talking.
Yeah, right. Hey, got a hat?
Got a fucking hat?
Dude, I can't believe that someone's had to have said that before, like, yo, fucking Odyssey is just Minish Cap with Mario.
Not only am I sure people have mentioned that before, I'm willing to bet that there is porn of the Minish Cap hat fucking the Odyssey hat.
Oh yeah, first of all, this game is very similar to the Minish Cap. Okay. Oh God, I'm already seeing images of them interacting.
Doesn't the Minish Cap have a name? I feel like it has a name. I know the Mario's hat in Odyssey is called Cappy.
Of course it is.
There's got to be Rule 34 of the Minish Cap laying down some pipe in the fucking cap.
Laying pipe in the
there's got to be.
Hey, Cappy. Oh my God, I'm checking that shit right fucking now, brother.
Let's get to the bottom of that before we go any further.
Oh my God. Let's pop on a quick incognizzle. All right, Rule 34. Minish Cap and Cappy. Here we go. The Minish Cap, Rule 34. Let's see what things the Minish Cap is fucking today. Yes, I'm an adult and I'm okay with that. Oh my God. Well, here's Cappy, where most of the bottom of him it looks like a dick coming out of a butt. It's all him. Oh, this is what? It's a lot of things that aren't Cappy. Oh wow, I'm really disappointed by this site. Really disappointed. What about Rule 34 Cappy? What's this gonna pull up? Oh my God, Jesus.
Cappy may not be specific.
Here's Fox McCloud wearing Cappy on his dick. That's awesome. That's the only one that actually features the real Cappy.
Of course.
And it has the speech bubble with Mario saying, "You so better not," and Fox saying, "Then tell your hat to stop." You so better not. That's really fucked up. Wow, I'm really disappointed, to be honest. I thought I would immediately be beset on all sides by images of a hat fucking a hat.
Dude, I'm having a hard time believing that that's not what's occurring. That's what the fuck?
Maybe if I add Mario to the search. Oh, here's a sexy woman wearing Cappy with a mustache. All right, here, Rule 34 Cappy Mario.
Are there Cappy dick girls? I bet there is.
There's like no. Does Cappy become a top hat at some point?
I don't know if Cappy does, but in like the first world, the Tim Burton Capeland, or whatever the fuck it's called, there's a bunch of them that look like top hats.
Here's a dick girl wearing Cappy.
Oh, nice. Okay.
But it really looks like Cappy's just photoshopped on. Here's a. Oh my God.
What else would it be?
Here is. Oh my. How do I even describe this? Okay, it's Donkey Kong, but with Mario's face and a huge dick, and he's wearing Cappy. Here's Bowser with Mario's. Oh, I guess. Oh, because Cappy turns you into them, right?
Turns you into what?
Into the person or whatever. You throw Cappy on him and you become him.
Cappy to take over their fucking mind and use their body as a host for Mario's consciousness.
Okay, yeah, because he's Bowser with Cappy on with Mario's mustache, and he's looking down and being scared at his tiny penis. Is Mario fucking a woman who's wearing Cappy?
Oh. Does that mean he's like fucking himself, kind of?
Maybe. Oh, here's Cappy fucking a lifeless Luigi hat. But I'm not seeing any. That's really sad. All right, so internet, please make it so.
Oh my God, shit.
We need a cap attack. We need a yes cap attack.
Dude, that's fucking incredible. That right here, live on this podcast, we have encountered what may be
an exception to Rule 34,
first
right?
Ever exception to Rule 34.
How can that be? It has to be out there somewhere.
It must be. It absolutely must be. I'm not willing to cede that just quite yet.
Damn, son, that's a miserable. It sucks.
Yeah, what a letdown.
Yeah, what a letdown. So I mean, look, I'll say this, just like this what Breath of the Wild is really good for me right now is mindless grinding. But I I needed a break from it because I was on such a fucking dude. I was on a fast track. 48 shrines, I got through that shit, dude. I didn't get a single heart container until I had fully gotten all 3 stamina wheels. So I only was running on the hearts that I got from the Divine Beast. So I was at like 7.
God,
it was super low. I was like, I mean, basically, I was getting 1 shot if I got hit. So I was just avoiding motherfuckers hitting me and just trying to be good. And it was fine with the bosses. And then ultimately I get to these Lionels and they just destroy me. I guess there is an element of get good to it, but
I mean, there absolutely is. I mean, in any other game, wouldn't coming up against an enemy that was just laying you the fuck out, wouldn't that like right away lead you to the conclusion that, oh, I'm not powerful enough to be here yet. I better go backtrack and bust around and fucking, you know, and jack my shit up a little bit before I come back here.
Yes. If there is a
message that would be sending to you, right?
If there is a precedent of that, which there was insofar as there were tough enemies, but never was I roadblocked from continuing the main game by something that was so tough I had to figure it out. The only things that really fucked me over were the stupid ass climate control bullshit. That's it.
The climate control?
Yeah. Oh, your heat resist, your cold resist. Oh, but wait, fire resist and heat resist are different things. Like, shut the fuck up, brother.
Dude, what do you mean? You get the blue fucking Zora tunic or whatever. In Ocarina, you get the red. You know, you get the red tunic. There's a bunch of different ones and shit. There's precedent for this, dude. There's so many different kinds of armor. Do you know there's plus climbing gear? There's plus swim speed gear and shit?
Yeah, and I'm going to get the plus climbing gear when I'm already done with the fucking game.
Well,
Like, at which point I'm going to have such OP armor. Like, why would I take that shit off? Am I really going to stop? I mean, I guess if I'm climbing a crazy-ass cliff. But, like, it just... there's so many great things. And for me... the flow is just not there to join these things. The flow of the game, the direction. I mean, and also it's inherent in the fact that you can go directly to the final boss. You can go to any of the Divine Beasts in any order. Like, that is cool, but I would feel, because I went in this order, I would not have felt any less good about it if the game were half the size and twice as focused. I would be way more impressed. I mean, don't get me wrong. I absolutely love it. I think it's a fucking fantastic game. Fantastic game. Fantastic. Just, I think that the fact that, I don't know, someone should have been warned in the beginning of the game or something that, like, hey, make sure you're steadily cooking and getting rupees and doing all this shit that you will just fly straight past. When you're killing enemies, you're not going to get fucking rupees. You're not even going to get shit you can sell for decent money. You're not going to get fuck all from killing enemies.
See, I would be much more inclined to see that point to you if, in my experience, even someone like me, who is, I feel like, in general, way more inclined to fucking bust straight through RPGs and, you know, and story-driven games and shit like that. You know, if even I found reason and good cause to go around and, you know, figure out how to make the best fucking meals. And, like, there's even this one fruit, is it a durian? Maybe? I think that's what it's called. You can go farm them in this one area in Lanaroo or something like that, the jungle area. I forget what it's called. And you can go farm those motherfuckers there. They sell for a lot. They restore mad fucking hearts, even if you just munch them. And you can cook them in dishes with very few other ingredients that, you know, fucking multiply their potential by like 3 or like a factor of 3 or 4, you know. But I don't know. It's amazing to me that even I found that going off and doing shit like that effortless, whereas you seem to be struggling so much with it.
Dude, I mean, you're like, oh, it's like Lanry or wherever. I mean, the names of the places, each location, they're not nearly as signature as being like, oh, it's in Misery Mire. Okay, I know exactly where it is. Like, the locations themselves, like, where's Lanry? It's like, where's Nekbluda?
To a certain extent, sure. Like, that's that's a valid point, but man, the more that we talk about this, the more I'm getting the impression that, like, gee, you just didn't play enough of the game, man. Like, I feel like you think that the game is infinitesimally smaller than it actually is. Like, this game is fucking enormous, dude. And I'm getting the impression that you've seen, like, less than a quarter of it.
I mean, that's pretty accurate, probably. But at the same time, the game is defeat the Divine Beast and kill Ganon.
Well,
that's what the game is.
Is it? I mean, by what metric? That's a quest that's in your quest log, sure. But there's a whole bunch of other fucking quests in your quest log, too. I mean, the point of Chrono Trigger is to kill fucking Lavos, right? But even in Chrono Trigger, you don't immediately go and try to fucking murder that motherfucker as soon as you possibly can.
Well, first of all, you can do that, but it also will likely trounce the piss out of you to the point
Which
where,
is
like,
exactly what is happening to you right now.
But I'm not going directly there. I've played through the 4 main bosses of the game. That's the point. With Chrono Trigger, also, it guides you from point to point to point, directing you through the story in a way that it wants you to understand the flow. It's directing you from point to point in a very limited, linear way. This game is so open. I mean, shit, even fucking Grand Theft Auto 5 slowly opened me up to different parts of the world and gave me a sense of where I was and what each area was and what it could provide for me. And the map helped me, like, actually get around instead of being like, well, I'm in this one's, like, samey area versus the other samey area.
Respectfully,
well, gorgeous, but
I submit that it is at least possible that Breath of the Wild may be attempting to do that as well. You just aren't paying attention to it.
I mean, it's possible. It's definitely possible. I'm just like, it's not, at least with something like Grand Theft Auto 5, it's the same thing as we were talking about with Chrono Trigger. The quests themselves, the fucking whatever they're called, the missions lead you from one thing to another. Like, they push you in a certain direction and open up different parts of the plot and continue to guide you.
The same could be said for many of the side quests and shit like that you're getting in Breath of the Wild.
I mean, it's certainly possible,
I mean,
but again, there's side quests I have to fucking find.
Yeah. Yes, you got to find them. I mean, and also you start off with at least a bunch from Kakariko Village.
Yeah, that's literally what I'm doing right now after 4 Divine Beasts down, is going back to Kakariko Village to get those quests, because I just skated right fucking past them. I just blazed right on past Kakariko like it was nothing, because it was like, oh, cool, all right, I talked to Impa, she told me where to go, biggity bam, we're out of here. It seemed to make sense to me.
I mean, and yeah, of course it does, to a certain extent, right? Man, it's a very, very tough call to make, right? Because I don't think either one of us is playing the game more correctly than the other, right? But so we can't really criticize it on that alone. But at the same time, like, I don't get the impression that you are playing it like you would an open world game. But then I guess the immediate argument to that would be, shouldn't it help you play it in that sort of fashion? Or
yeah, it should at least give me a hint as to how it wants me to play it. That's the point. And I'm finding out now because of the brick wall I've hit. It could have told me a little earlier, like, hey, this is what the deal's going to be. Like,
I mean, I don't know. I think we're both right. That's part of the problem.
I mean, yeah, it's just a concern. That's it. Yeah, I'm still playing it, and I still want to destroy it, but just like, fuck, dude. I wish it had given me a hint before, because, like, the thing is, I need it. Basically, I'm gonna finish it, but I had to take a break and play something else, and I had my heart set on finishing it without touching anything else. And when I hit that brick wall, I was like, well, fuck. I'm definitely going to play something else now because I am not in the mood to start fucking grinding meat to get rupees, to get the armor I need, and to get better weapons and shit. I'm just not prepared to stop this run to the boss right now, and I need to take a breather from the game so I can come back and enjoy exploring it rather than being like...
Yeah, well, you feel like you're at the end of the fucking game, and now you're just sort of arbitrarily being told to, nope, wait for a while. Ostensibly, but, you know, wait for a while. And then come back again, and then we'll let you beat it. So
yeah, it's like grinding, but without the numbers. Which is annoying.
that makes a whole lot of fucking sense, and I would feel the exact same way if I was in your position, right? And I'm trying to think of a game where I've absolutely done almost that exact same thing, but I'm having trouble coming up with one right now. But yeah, I would feel like, well, I kind of beat the game, and like, where's my motivation to, you know, go back and, you know, power up my character, the abilities or the gear or whatever, if all I'm gonna do with it is just go turn around and just go beat the fucking game, right? It's hard to see a motivation for that. Whereas if you've been doing that bit by bit, you know, all along up until this point, you know, you would constantly be seeing a reason to continue and, you know, beat this next side quest or clear this next fucking shrine and shit, because, oh, I still have this beast to do or this other motherfucker to kill or some shit like that. But you feel like you're already at the fucking end of the game, and now it's just telling you to wait arbitrarily for a while before it'll let you finish it. And
yeah, basically. And like, I wouldn't mind the grinding as much if it were like, oh, I'm leveling up and I'm getting beefier and beefier, whereas now I'm just like running back and forth doing really menial shit at the end of the game.
I mean, that's also what makes me feel like there's just something you missed or something, because at no point, even in the beginning of the game, was I ever just killing wildlife and like farming for low-grade mats like fucking apples and shit. At no point was I ever doing that. I mean, I was doing things similar, but nothing like that, that rote and uninteresting, you know?
That's crazy. That is fucking nutso.
I would challenge you. I would say pick the top, I don't know, 4 side quests in your log and just go and say, I'm not going to do anything else until I do these 4 fucking quests.
I don't even have 4 quests in my log.
Yeah, that...
Oh, so, okay, I just got a 4th side quest in my log.
Did you even do the one where you have to go and visit all the locations of
oh my
Zelda's
God.
memories?
No, oh wait, no, I have a lot. Holy shit, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, I did not do the bullshit Hyrule memories, captured memories shit. I
didn't do it either. It was only after I had just inadvertently stumbled upon a bunch of the locations that I was like, maybe I'll go out and, you know, maybe I'll go intentionally go and find some of this shit. But I would say take like the top 3 or 4 quests in your fucking log and just go do them. Just don't do anything else until you do them.
Right.
And it is my feeling, I suspect, that over the course of completing those quests, you will encounter other things and be naturally led off in other paths that don't feel quite as forced or arbitrary necessarily.
No, that's good advice. I mean, do these quests give any rewards?
Yes.
They do. Okay.
Yes.
All right. That's what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to start. I'm using the quest tracker and everything. I'm going to actually legit work on the side quests.
Go and do them. It's not as intuitive as a lot of other games, maps and quest trackers, but it does fucking work. It is, you know, it is fucking usable.
I'm doing it. I've already got it on. And I'm currently doing a side quest, and I'm going to commit to get to knocking these out and clearing this out and see what happens.
Another thing is that not only are the rewards that you get useful and worthwhile, sometimes they may not immediately appear as such, but they are. And I feel like there's so many uses for all these mats and materials and all this shit that you can create and gather and use that I I feel like that's one of the things that tells me that you just haven't seen enough of the fucking game, right? Dude, I don't remember exactly what it was, but there was a good enough reason for me to go into the mountains behind the Zora area and farm fucking a certain types of minerals.
Right.
Like, there was a good enough reason for me to do it. Not just like, oh, you get this a certain amount of some stupid useless thing. No, it was like some shit that was a good fucking reason to do it. I mean, dude, I just feel like there's reasons and good motivations to do most of that shit. You just gotta kind of gotta give them a chance.
No, that's fair. That's fair. I mean, I'll definitely give it a chance. I want to enjoy the rest of it for sure.
Well, my suggestion is go and try doing just 4 side quests. See if that is able to sort of lead you off into any into some additional fun. See if that instigates further adventures.
Okay, I will. And I mean, I have a freaking 3-day weekend this weekend, so.
Oh yeah, man, we never get holidays off. What day is it? Labor Day? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
What actual day is it? Do you know?
It's Monday.
This coming Monday?
Yeah.
Fuck, I'm off that day anyway.
The 3rd.
Boo.
Well, all right. Look, I think we should wrap it up.
Dude, that got fucking.
I'm getting pretty hungry, and like now I'm rethinking my approach to this because, like I said, I really want to like it, and I don't want to sour the experience on it. And I guess, like I said, I needed some time to just get away from it to accept what was going on, because I was like, if I try to force this right now, I'm gonna fucking hate it. So instead, I was like, I need to take some time to accept the fact that if I want to complete this game, this is what I'm going to have to do. And your advice is definitely giving me some real...
hopefully some good places to start, at least.
Good place to start, for sure. Yeah.
Like, because you absolutely are responsible, for the most part, for discovering things that you want to make goals, and for taking it upon yourself to go out and figure out how to accomplish those goals and what you need in order to do so, and then going and doing it. It definitely requires motivation on your part to set the goals, but if you allow yourself to be willing to do that, you will find rather quickly that there is no shortage of goals that you can set about for yourself. But you do have to take the impetus to go out and set the goals yourself. The game will not do it for you.
Right. And I'm going to fuck around with that because, I keep hoping it's going to be like, all right, do this quest to get the ultimate armor. And it's just like, no, that's not going to happen.
No, it's not. It absolutely fucking will not.
That's difficult. I mean, even as far as Zelda standards, RPG standards, WoW standards, anything, it's like, not Skyrim. Skyrim was the same way, where if you wanted the dope shit, you had to fucking craft it. And you had to hack the crafting system and fuck around and get smoked.
Oh, yeah. Dude, we each have about 200 hours in Skyrim, probably, I would say. And I'd imagine a safe bet that there are a huge amount of game systems and mechanics and things that you can do in that game that neither one of us have even scratched the fucking surface of.
Oh, yeah. For sure. That's totally true.
And the stuff that we have gotten into in both of our games was, at least in my experience, and I would guess yours too, for the most part, it was just shit that we fucking happened upon.
Right.
And Breath of the Wild is absolutely the same way. It won't hold up big fucking signs and say, go over here and do this. You have to take it upon yourself to set certain goals and shit like that. But once you start doing that, there is like a never-ending amount of stuff that you can decide to accomplish if you want to. But you have to fucking seek it out.
Right. That's an extremely fair and wise counterpoint. And I'm taking that to heart.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to see you I would like to see you fucking take it to heart and have. I mean, it's clear, and this also speaks to how fucking great the game is, that you're having as much fun as you are with it, in spite
For
of
sure.
all these things that we've been discussing for the
Yes.
last hour or so. I mean, that alone is very
Huge.
impressive.
Yeah, for sure.
But when it comes down to it overall, whether or not the fact that you have to seek out goals and set them for yourself, the game doesn't do it for you, whether or not that's a good thing or a negative thing, I mean, that's really kind of up to you, the individual, right? I mean, I don't think that that's any sort of concrete metric you can either say a game is good or bad as a result of, right?
Right.
Especially because it seems to function perfectly in either case. But
Yeah.
well, shit. There you
That's-
have it.
I mean,
that's a real,
Yeah,
that's a fucking real in-depth take.
I mean, yeah, I've got a lot of
Fucking Breath
soul
of the Wild.
searching to do.
That's what I'm saying, dude. You gotta take time with that shit, dude. You gotta chill in fucking Hyrule. You gotta kick
Yeah.
it.
Right. I've been
Chill
playing
out,
so many
relax,
games
fucking
where you just
relax,
gotta
all cool, dude.
just rip through the games I play usually, and here it's like, whoa, slow down, bucko. And I was like, no, I want to beat it. It's like, nah, dude. So I don't know. I'm gonna try. I'm doing my best. Picking up cuckoos right now.
Oh fuck yeah! Did you even do the Cuckoo's quest to throw them all into the fucking shit?
No, I'm doing it right now.
Yes. Good.
This is like day one questing, and I'm doing it.
Good. It is my feeling that you will be all the better for it.
All right, cool. Well, we're gonna certainly find out.
Yeah. And with that bit of sage advice, I think that's where we're going to leave it.
Yeah.
For today, we've covered everything from early aughts Lindsay Lohan classics
Oh yeah.
to to early models of the iPhone, and we definitely went down the rabbit hole quite a bit there at the end with Breath of the Wild. And let's not forget our fun digression into Rule 34.
Rule 34. Yeah, I was really hoping you'd mention it.
Yeah, seriously, people, get in the fucking comments. Find some of that shit. Hunt that
Yeah.
shit down if it's out there. Let us know.
Finish Cap X Cappy. Let's see it. I want to write a fucking fanfic about it. I want to
knew
write
that
like
was
the
coming
next, write the next fucking Twilight about these. Dude, I already actually. You know what's really funny? That's within my wheelhouse because I've always told one of my friends is really into Harry Potter, like porno fan fiction, like is a really secret guilty pleasure, like writing it into it, everything. I'm not gonna out you,
Like actually
but you
writing
know,
it?
yes,
Damn,
like
that's impressive.
you know who you are. It's good. It's good too, but it's like really adult
like,
porno shit.
I'm sure we all are no strangers to seeking out oddly specific types of porn, you know, time and time again, right? But to go out there and fucking write that shit, that's impressive.
Yeah, it is, and it's taken us into many conversations about pairings and stuff, and I have for a long time said that the greatest pairing that I want to write is Mrs. Norris, the caretaker's cat, and the sorting hat. That to me would be the greatest. I would read that story told from either or both perspectives. An erotic tale between a cat and a hat. So there is precedent in my mind and heart for
In both those
hat
places.
porn, but never a hat on a hat. Just one
on
anthropomorphic hat, but not hat on hat action. I really want to know, like, I feel like the Minish Cat would be the top.
What's interesting is that I feel like Cappy does not have a mouth, but the Minish Cap does.
The Minish Cat def has a mouth.
So
the Minish
that
Cat,
right there would dictate a lot of things, sexually speaking, I feel like.
dude, the Minish Cat would tear Cappy apart. The Minish Cat.
I get that impression, too.
Rip
That if
Cap-
someone
dude,
was
they
going to
would-
be the fucking top, it would absolutely be the Minish
The
Cap.
Minish Cat would top the shit out of
Yeah,
Cappy.
Cappy would definitely be fucking taking it, dude. Absolutely.
Cappy would be taking it in the cap hole. Are you fucking joking? Absolutely. Plus, I take Mario as more of a hedonist, so if either hat's gonna be scarred. I don't know. I think
Well,
Link
I
is
mean,
more
Mario,
innocent.
how do you feel like Mario treated Cappy compared to how Link treated fucking the Minish Cap when the cameras were off.
I think the Minish Camp is just the more fucked up one. It's really mouthy and shit. I don't know anything about Camp.
It's more deranged. I definitely get that impression that the Minish Cap is far more deranged. It's seen way more shit in its time than motherfucking Cappy.
What the fuck is Cappy?
He's some weird fucking
alien?
He's a hit that's gained some dark form of sentience for fucking whatever reason. Cause Mario. I don't know.
Great.
Probably the same reason that like clouds and hills have eyes in Mario's universe. I don't know.
I can't believe they bit their own shit.
What do you mean?
With the Minish Camp versus Campy.
But didn't
they were like
Capcom?
What, have a talking head?
No, didn't Capcom? I know that Capcom did Oracle of Seasons and Ages. Did they also do Minish Cap? I feel like it's possible that they did.
I believe it wasn't Capcom. I believe it was Flagship Studios, who was also responsible for something else really famous.
Studios, I will be very impressed.
Bro, I'm 99% sure they did both of those games, and they may have also done. They may have also done Minish Cap, and Flagship, I believe, is a division of Capcom.
Are you finding out right now?
I am. I think it has something to do with Resident Evil, also.
They could have been responsible for one of the remakes or something.
Whoa! Did I go way off the rails here? Flagship Studios was fucking founded by Bill Roper and Max Schaefer.
What?
No, this can't be. Oh, it's a Japanese company. Okay, Bill Roper. Okay, Flagship was an independent developer funded by Capcom, Nintendo, and Sega. They developed a bunch of shit. So they did all three of those Zelda games. And
oh, snap.
What? Oh, and this is why I associate them with Resident Evil. Because Flagship was the team that prior to those games had done RE2, two unused drafts of RE4, I guess they were probably the original RE4, Code Veronica, Dead Aim, Survivor, and Zero. Flagship developed all that and those three Zelda games.
Wow. I mean,
oh right, Survivor
and Survivor were obviously
dude.
Pice.
Oh, Survivor! You and I beat Dead Aim together.
Yeah, we were. That was during a period of time where we were bizarrely fucking infatuated with light gun games. Remember
right?
Vampire Knight?
Absolutely, that game was off the fucking hook. It was incredible. Oh, dude, yeah. So wow, Flagship had quite a.
We wore out, like, no joke, easily 5 pairs of gun cons playing Vampire Knight.
It's awesome.
I remember that we were constantly having to go back to GameStops and get them exchanged or get new ones because we were just fucking busting them left and right.
Dude, I loved all that. Dude, I loved fucking Point Blank. Did you ever play Point Blank?
I don't think so.
It was just like it was Namco. It was like goofy, cutesy shooting mini games. It was like almost. I don't remember how fast they were, but it was really fast-paced mini games, all shooting based, like really cute Japanese, colorful, cartoony style, like the counterpoint to the super serious Time Crisis and all that shit and fucking, which are all awesome. Yeah. Was there a dinosaur one? Was it like a Dino Crisis shooter? Or am I just like thinking that? Because they were Lethal Enforcers was like the first, bro.
You might just be thinking of Turok, but I feel like...
Oh my god, no, I want to think of light gun shooter. I mean, there were definitely a bunch of great Jurassic Park games, but arcade only from what I know, or what
Once
I recall anyway.
Dinosaur, my brain can only conjure images of Dino Crisis.
Yeah, which is awesome. Shout out, isn't her name Regina?
I think that it is. I think it's
Regina. She's taking a dinosaur in her Regina.
How many sequels to Dino Crisis did they make?
Like 5, dude.
Really? That many?
I never finished one, which sucks because I was so hyped about Dino Crisis. I bought that shit on release day, bro. I was calling Funko Land from school going, did you get Dino Crisis in yet? I did that with 2 games, Dino Crisis and Final Fantasy Tactics, calling them from school on the payphone using quarters to be like, yo, did you get that shit in yet? Yeah, it was a far cry, and they were basically like, and I'm sure, like, I thought, oh, they won't know it's me. And it's like, in retrospect, it's like how many little kids were calling every 5 minutes for fucking Final Fantasy Tactics and Dino Crisis.
Not to mention, it's probably the same poor fucker sitting behind that goddamn cash register
all day,
phone all day too.
Oh, all right. we're gonna wrap this show up. I got cuckoos to find and food to eat.
Yeah, no shit. I gotta try to fucking black the fuck out before I have to go back to work again tonight. Blech.
Great.
But shit. That brings to a close episode motherfucking 9. Good God.
Wow. We've come so far.
We have come so far, and yet still have so much further yet to go.
Well, I want to know what people's thoughts are on the interpretations of Breath of the Wild. I have a feeling that most people are going to be like, yeah, don't breeze through the side quest. But I still think there's a lot of merit to what I said in that if the game isn't going to spell out how I should play it and say it's open world, it should allow me to play it how I want and not suddenly put a stopgap at the end saying, oh, thanks for playing it how you wanted, but actually you're supposed to play it this way.
Well, I mean, not to, fucking split motherfuckers or anything, but that it's absolutely possible to go right ahead and beat the game from where you are exactly right now. Right?
Yeah, if I got good, I probably could just go beat it. It probably is a matter of me sucking too much to beat these Lionels without dope strats. I probably could watch some dope strats and find out some shit, which also is another option for me.
In either case, it's not. I think what we're really getting at is, should a game like this be directing you a little more, or is it fine with how hands off it is? And like, what do you prefer? And does one way or the other make a difference between a good game and a bad game, right?
Right. That's what I want to know. The jury's still out. I mean, this game is not a bad game. It's a fucking phenomenal game.
Yeah, that was probably a bit too.
It's a phenomenal game. I got beef.
More like, is that a negative or a positive in its column? I suppose, because you can clearly play the game in any way that you choose, in any number of, in any number of ways. But it's very interesting. It's very, very interesting. It's making me want to go and pick that motherfucker up again and just start like trying to bust around, especially in handheld mode. And
it's quite nice, quite refreshing.
I'll see how it makes me feel. But anyway, that does it. DEGREELESSNESS, episode fucking 9. We'll be back next week.
9.
With episode fucking 10.
Yes.
Thank you, as always, if you guys have listened to this entire motherfucking episode. And we love you today. We love you all the way. We'll see you next time.
Bye, brosies and brosettes.